we're Team Mills. They say teamwork makes the dream work, and we're here to tell you they were right.
I'm Jon, the dreamer and logistics.
I'm Megan, the caution and the creative. Together, we've spent the last 10 years raising babies and building multiple businesses from the ground up. One thing we know to be true, we couldn't have done it without each other. From late nights to early mornings, failures and successes, and the unbelievable joy of seeing our dreams come to life, we live and breathe entrepreneurship, and we know firsthand just how much work it takes.
But we're not only business partners, we've been married for 10 years and have 4 beautiful kids who we homeschool in East Tennessee. We want to instill these life skills and values in our children and do life alongside them. We believe life is better as a team in every area. No one can do it alone. So our hope in this podcast is to walk alongside you, encourage you, and maybe teach you a thing or two about running a business and just life in general.
So let's get to work and learn something new. Hey guys, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited because today we have a very special guest with us, and I was adamant that this person be our first guest on this podcast. I would have no one else before her, and I'm so excited to welcome Anna Hedges today. Anna, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. It's such an honor.
I am so pumped that she is here.
Apparently, I'm jumping ahead of Jon. He's even more excited than I. We have so many questions we want to ask you today. I want to know so many more things about you. I want to tell people about how we met and how our relationship came about and what you do for the Cookie Crate. But first, we have to jump into our community spotlight before we jump into that. So today, I want to shout out Stephanie Boyer. She follows us on Instagram. She's so sweet. She sends me the sweetest DMs with like reshares of stuff from like Risen Motherhood and Daily Grace Co, like encouraging, uplifting messages. So I always know when I open up her DM, it's going to be something super sweet. And actually, her and her husband are getting ready to open their first small business, a fitness center. She wanted to share that with us because she was so excited, saying that she was inspired by watching us and listening and following along with everything. And she's followed along with the podcast since we started, which is so sweet.
That is awesome.
I know. She's given a bunch of feedback, and it's been really nice. So, Stephanie, thank you for all of your encouragement and kindness. We appreciate you being here, and we are so excited for your fitness center. I want to hear all about it, and I can't wait to see it.
Inspire me.
All right, so let's jump in to talking to Anna today. Anna, seriously, thank you so much for being here.
Our first guest.
Thanks, guys.
I know,
It's such a delight.
Big deal. I want to first talk about how we met. And I remembered, but I had to think about like the year and everything for a second because it's been a while.
Yes.
We met in 2018 when I was I'm using this term loosely, a model in someone's photo shoot.
That's a real term.
Well,
you were the talent.
I don't know if I could be classified as that, but you made me feel that way that day. And
That's
so you
sweet.
Stuck out in my mind. Anna was shooting for another local business owner who had asked me to step in as model / talent, whatever you want to call it, to showcase her jewelry. And Anna was taking the photos. And I was just like awestruck by you and just the kindness that you portrayed. You're so warm and loving. And obviously that has grown in our relationship since then. But during that time, you just stuck out to me as a photographer. It's not normally that feeling that you get. I feel like sometimes it's kind of like, I don't know what to do. This is awkward. I don't feel comfortable. I'm not hitting the mark here. You didn't make me feel any of that day. And so you stuck out in my mind greatly. And so fast forward to Jon and I starting the Cookie Crate in April of 2019, I started taking the photos for our website of all of the cookie flat lays that needed to be put up, as well as the Instagram post. And I immediately went to Jon and said, absolutely not. I'm not doing this. We have to hire out. I know exactly who to call.
Oh, I didn't know that part. I love that so much.
I was voting for you from the very beginning.
I believe you.
And tell them how you felt sweet about it.
Well, I mean, of course, I thought we could probably take good photos for the website and for what we needed, but I did actually fight her on that situation because I didn't know you yet, right?
Sure, of course.
I didn't know your talent and what you brought.
You gotta build trust.
Would be bringing in our business
for sure.
But you know, it was a big risk for us because our other business wasn't doing very good during that time, so we didn't have a lot of finances to put into this business. But we knew that we needed if we're going to do it, we need to do it right. So we did have quite a few discussions about bringing you on and using you. But after we saw the first pictures, and I was like, totally worth it.
Right.
Never argued again. So
That means so much to me, Jon. Thank you for that.
Especially because it was a product that someone's consuming. So I was
Yeah.
like, there's a lot of room for error here. And
Yeah.
I don't want to be the reason, because I can't take a good picture, that they don't try the amazing product on the other side of that.
Sure.
And we had talked about how, my feelings towards you during that photo shoot. And I was like, she's just a dream to work with. Like, she's going to catch the vibe. She's not like a typical what you think of with a photographer who might, just not hit the mark for us. And so we were just so excited. I was so excited when he finally said yes, and I won the battle.
and I'm excited now.
It's always a joy to work with you guys. I appreciate that.
You're so sweet. Okay, so I've explained a little bit about how we met, but let's talk about just how kind of we've worked together over the last, 2018, 19, 20, 22, 4 years.
Yeah.
Yes, I did count that on my fingers.
No, I
Judge
think
me
it's
if you want.
Okay, we'll count that. I don't.
Why? How much is it?
3 years.
Oh, only that?
Yeah.
Oh. Anna's using her fingers, see?
I don't. 18? Okay, yeah.
I get
3 to 4 years.
We started
What is
in
time?
2019. This is true.
Mary's good with words and not numbers. It's
I'm
okay.
thinking of 2018 when I met you. So
Okay.
working together, you're right. Okay. You can see where the lines were crossed
I
there.
see it. It's okay.
Anyway, the bond that we've created and just the friendship too, aside from the work relationship, it's just been so awesome in so many ways. But I'm so grateful for how you have caught on to our vision, and it was in the beginning me coming to you saying, here's what I want, here's how I want to make it look. I always explained to you I wanted like a lifestyle type feed and everything with what we do. But you have started in the last, I think really in the last year and a half, 2 years, it's become more of a collaboration as to where you're jumping in and you're like, okay, I'm like, here's the vision of this or the theme of this box. What can we do? And we really collaborate more than we did before, which I'm so grateful for, because your creative genius is so helpful in this setting.
That means so much to me. Honestly, I'll never forget when I was like, it'd be so cool. I think we were doing one of the Christmas shoot that we did like at Timber.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, honestly, it'd be so cool if we had fake snow. And you were like, I mean, I can get it. And I was like, you'll really get me fake snow? Like, I was like, oh my gosh.
And we did. We got fake snow.
Yeah, you totally did.
We were there for cleaning it up for like 30 minutes after the photo shoot.
It was totally worth it. I couldn't believe you actually got it for me. I was so excited.
I'll get you fake snow any day, Anna Hedges.
Yeah, but it was awesome at the very beginning. Like, you would do the flat lays, you would lay them all out, and you would come home and say, well, I had this all laid out. I thought it looked fine, but something was kind of missing. And then Anna would just come over and just sprinkle some chocolate chips over in this little section, and it just made the picture.
She still does that.
It's my favorite. We just work really well together, I think.
We do.
I appreciate your vision.
Anna always adds the finishing touch onto things that I don't see, which I'm just so grateful for, because it's just more of a team collaboration now, which is great because it's less, honestly, it feels like less work on my part now. You've taken a huge weight off of my shoulders, just being able to help me and tell me what will work and what won't and how we can make it happen. So I just love what we do together. I love our photo shoot days. We honestly just had the biggest 2 photo shoots I feel like we've ever had. We had 19 flat lays in one day, and then a 6-hour photo shoot 2 days later.
Yes.
And I just never grow tired of you, Anna.
That's so sweet.
You guys
Feeling
are
is
so
very
loud
mutual.
when you do it.
We're so loud.
Yeah, you are so loud. You take over the whole space. So I'm like, man. When they talk on the phone, they had to go in a different room because your guys were just so loud.
I'm dying.
So, but you're having a good time.
Don't doubt that at all.
I'm so happy.
I have nothing. I can't rebuke that.
It's like we also have therapy sessions in each of our photo shoots
Yes.
too. Anna gives me a little bit of like life and grounding and therapy in each one. So I'm always grateful for those moments too.
That's so sweet. You always know your own answers.
Here we go again. See?
It's true.
Except for this time we're actually in couches and chairs. Like it really does feel like
Ooh,
fun.
this is so exciting.
Okay, so we've shared about how we met and how we work together now, and how you're an integral part. Integral, is that right? It felt wrong.
No,
Integral?
it's not a girl.
Integral.
Here we go again.
Know.
I don't know. We're going to roll with
this
it.
Is again.
How you're a huge part of the cookie crate. But I want to know more about you because I feel like I don't know that much in terms of like your history. So I kind of thought it'd be fun to just shoot some interview questions towards you. I want to know how you even came into photography. Like, was it a lifelong passion? Did you go to school for it? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, this is so fun. I don't think we've ever talked about this.
No, I'm excited to hear.
Thanks. So, yeah, I think my dad's also a photographer, and his photos have just always like really stood out to me. We have a very complicated relationship, but he always took a lot of photos of us as a kid. And as kids, I have 5 younger siblings, and it just always has meant so much to me because I think it was his way of like really getting to know us and paying attention to us in a way. And I see it as love. And we literally have so many childhood photos, which I feel like is a huge luxury and just a gift.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I was 12, he gave me the 35 millimeter film camera that he had always photographed us as kids on. And he was just like, yeah, you can have this, whatever. So I just basically learned to shoot like manual settings and all of that on it, and just kind of took pictures of all of my friends. Like it wasn't like a conscious thing, but in a way, like looking back, I can see how I just kind of followed, like I learned from him and just modeled that, but with people that were like chosen family to me, and definitely my siblings, and just a lot of friends. Mm-hmm. And so I went to, when I was in college, I guess it was like, maybe I was a senior. I think I was a senior in college, and I didn't go to school for photography or anything. I took one photo class and literally hated it.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
Because I just feel like art's so subjective, and I understand all of the things, but it was not for me. I was like, I just want to take photos that I like, and that's what matters the most to me.
That sounds like you.
I was like, please don't give me grades. I was like, that doesn't feel right. But I was a senior, and one of my friends who had always photographed, they were like, will you photograph our wedding? And I was like, definitely not. Absolutely no. I was like, I don't know how to photograph weddings. There's no way. And they were like, please. And I was like, sure. Okay. We'll figure this out. Shout out to Holly and John because they're amazing. Mm. And so I had borrowed all of these cameras from different people because I was so terrified that my camera was going to quit working. So I think I literally carried around like 8 cameras and photographed their wedding. And then I guess I got a couple referrals from there for like Denver and Ohio. And I was like,
Wow.
Okay. And I was trying to go to grad school. This is kind of a long-winded story, but
no, I love it.
I was going to grad school. I didn't get into the program that I wanted to get into. So I was like, okay, I think I'll just do photography for a while. I can always go to grad school later. And so that's kind of how it started. And I think that was in like 2009. Yeah.
What did you go to grad school for?
Well, I didn't get into the program that I wanted to, so I didn't go to grad school.
Oh, you did? Okay.
But it was for clinical mental health counseling.
Well, that makes so much sense.
That makes total sense. Wow.
Yeah. And so I've done weddings and portraits and commercial work ever since then. So
that is kind of so cool.
That story.
Now, did you do shots of before us as far as like branded type business related stuff? I mean, you did the earrings,
yes,
the jewelry.
Yes.
Did you do anything before that?
Yes, I've photographed a lot of headshots, a lot of different attorneys. I guess a couple different brands, a textile company. Yeah, there was a few different projects like that. Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was, you did for Bonnie K a lot. That was some of the shots that I looked at that I was like, I really think she could do, because you didn't have anything like what we do with edible, cookies and stuff like that.
Yes.
But seeing like the flat lays and everything with hers, I was like, oh yeah, she's got good vision with that. That's really neat. Okay, so this makes so much more sense to me now, knowing that that was what you were going to go to grad school for. But I also feel like that's so cool because knowing who you are, and this kind of brings me to my next question, about how I want to know how you feel like you've branded yourself and to set yourself apart from other photographers. But I feel like that background has a huge aspect of it because your ability to connect with people and to talk to people really makes a huge impact about how they feel on the other side of the camera. So can you talk a little bit about that, just branding yourself and kind of filling in that space?
Yeah, definitely. I wish I had a really great answer for this. I feel like the thing that I kind of have always stayed true to is just being myself. When I first started my business, a lot of people had different like company names, and I knew that I wanted it to be my name, and like my logo has been my signature for over a decade, and I just knew that I had to show up as and tell the truth as like much as I knew in that moment. And so I just kind of tried to be myself, and I'm like, it's either going to be for you or it's not, and that's okay either way. But as far as my branding, I just tried to like do what I liked and stay true to myself. I don't know. Wish I had a better answer.
I think that's a great answer. It's made an impact. I mean, people love you for you. And so that's what you're bringing to the table. You're not hiding behind any kind of facade. Yeah. You just show up, and we even joke that I think you're more humble than anybody. Well, people know, if they know you, they know you're humble, but people need to know that Anna Hedges, who don't know her in person, is so humble. We always joke, like, you need to have an assistant and like a right-hand person. Haley and I are always like, you need someone following you around doing all these things for you, but she just does it all like a rock star one-woman show.
It probably would be much more advantageous and more of a communal mindset to like include more people. So it's probably something I'll keep in mind.
And that comes with its own, logistics and difficulties as well.
True.
But you rock it.
It might be time.
Okay. Well, your connection with people is a huge aspect of just what you do. Do you love that part of your job, just being able to connect with people on a deeper level? And I feel like you take someone's photo and then you're like BFFs with them forever. So you have a very large community of people who love you.
Or it makes us feel that you're our best friends. And you're not on your side.
I like to think she's my friend, okay?
I think so too.
You all are my friends. I love you dearly.
Thank you. I needed that.
I think it's as simple as I just love people. And I think everybody, it's this very fun thing, this both and of like, we're all special and no one's special. And so I think we all have something to learn from each other, and we're all just kind of showing up in the best way that we know how in this moment. And I think to meet somebody where they're at, where their business is at, where they are on their wedding day or a portrait session or whatever it might be, like if I can come to that space, just meeting somebody right there and being present with them, then that's really, I think, where the magic happens.
This is so true.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
That's deep.
I do love people.
Okay. Well, kind of in the opposition of that, photography is a majorly like saturated industry. There's a lot of people, even in just Johnson City. How do you feel being a part of like such a saturated industry? Is it hard to set yourself apart? Has it been difficult, or do you feel like your work kind of speaks for itself? And because of the connections you make with people, it's like word of mouth is easy. Like your name gets kind of passed on, kind of like it did for us, how do you feel about being in that?
I kind of, again, I think it's this both and. I think that there really is so much work out there. And even though it's a saturated market or any kind of industry that's really saturated, I think for a long time I always didn't really understand the wisdom in like nobody else can be you, but it's 100% true. And I think the more that a person, I'll just speak for myself, the more that I've learned and like who I am and what works and doesn't work for me, the more I can find my ideal client, or they also find me. And I think just trusting the process has been a huge deal also. I think it being a saturated market doesn't really, I feel like I'm try to focus on how can I be more of myself and then trust that rather than being concerned about competition. Because I think when when I've been concerned about competition, it's always just sucked the air out of a room or the air out of my own life. And so there's just so much more abundance than I think sometimes we realize. There's reasons for thinking different ways, of course, but
of course,
yeah.
You come from such a mindset of abundance and cheerleading other people. You are not somebody that I would ever think of as being in competition with others. So I feel like I knew the answer to the question before I asked it.
That's really sweet. Thanks for saying that, because I do love a good competition every now and then. I'm not going to lie.
Like game night or...
I don't know what's in my zodiac chart or whatnot. I'm just like, I do love a little competition. But when it comes to people like doing what they need to do and everybody like having a good time, that's like, I feel like there can always be win-win solutions found usually.
I feel like everybody listening right now is like, I understand why Megan's so obsessed with Anna. It makes so much sense now.
It does.
So sweet to me.
She's just so easy to love. Okay, Anna, if there was something that you could go back and tell Anna beginning her photography journey, you know, a little over a decade ago, what would you tell her?
I would tell her that I'm really proud of her and that I think she's really brave. And that I think one of the biggest things that will be a huge benefit moving forward is self-compassion. Yeah, I think I would also tell her to trust herself as much as possible and to be more risky.
I feel like you do really well with all of those things, just from an outsider's perspective, looking in. You're a very brave person and always willing to try something new or venture out. Like, I'm always eager to talk to you when it's been a month or several weeks before we've chatted. And what was it last time you came? Not last time, this has been several months, but you came in and said, what were you going to school for? Was it it wasn't creative writing.
Oh, so yeah, no, it was for clinical mental health counseling.
Okay.
So kind of like full circle there. This is kind of funny, but last year I decided I was going to go back to grad school and still continue to do photography. But I was like, I've always wanted to do this because I didn't get into the program that I had originally wanted to, like when I first started photography. So I got into the program that I wanted to last year and finished, I think, 3 semesters. I was in the middle of my 3rd semester, and I was like, I actually hate this.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I finished the statistics exam, and I was just like, this isn't it. Like, I was so proud of myself for just like, I had always wanted to do it. I was like, I'd always go to grad school one day. So I was like, last year was one day. And in the middle of the semester, I was just like, I finished my exam and I was like, this is not what I want anymore.
I remember that being like, wait, you're going back to school. One time I was like, okay, cool leap. This is exciting. And then several months later being like, yeah, I actually stopped doing that because I just don't like it. And I was like, I love how Anna's just so sure of herself all the time.
College dropout is my new favorite title that I have.
Join the club.
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
Yes. I mean, it was a big move for me because I really do enjoy learning. And so when I was in college, in undergrad, I was like, made straight A's, did all the things. And it came fairly easily to me. But, you know, a decade later, I realized that's not my preferred method of learning whatsoever. And so to be back in that, I was just like, ooh, this is not for me. But yeah, I really appreciated your encouragement, because when I told you I was like applying to schools, you were just such a huge encouragement and cheerleader, and it meant a lot to me. And then when I came back and you were like, how's school? And just the fact that you always asked about school meant a lot to me. And I remember just being so at peace with my decision, but also I knew I didn't have to like curate or any kind of answer for you. I was like, oh, I quit. And you were like, okay. And it just meant so much because I could just show up and, be my whole self, which is,
oh, you're sweet.
which is good.
Well, I feel the same way with you. So it's mutual. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I just love your assured answers. Like it's always just a statement with Anna. It was just like, well, I'm doing this now, or I'm going here. I quit that. It's always so like proclaimed instead of like, I say things very hesitant as to how is this person going to take, like, even when we started homeschooling, I was like, well, we're homeschooling now, like a mouse in a corner.
Sure.
As to where I should be like, we're homeschooling now. I'm going to try the Anna Hedges approach to my
honestly, that's
conversation.
so sweet to hear reflected back, because my our internal dialogue can be quite different. And mine is very much, I will like overthink something over and over, like just incessantly. And then by the time I am sure of myself and make a decision, that's usually what people do see. So like, and then I'm like, by the time I like speak it out loud, I'm very sure of it, but that's just, it's not always how I feel. And so even you reflecting that back is very sweet to me, because to me, it feels like I've gone to like on this chaos journey with my brain and heart.
I love it.
And so that's sweet.
I enjoy it always. I love hearing your updates. I'm getting to catch up every time.
That's awesome. I think that something else that comes to mind is like, even when we're creating and doing photo shoots and things like that, I always feel your trust, and that makes me, I feel like that gives me the ability and the permission to just be more assured in myself too. And I feel that way about both of you. And it means the world to me, because I think that like, that really is where magic can happen, is when there's this like deep trust and a willingness to be okay making mistakes and like trying something and knowing that if it doesn't work out, like there's 30 other ways we could do this.
Absolutely.
And so that always feels sweet.
Well, we do trust you wholeheartedly, both of us. It is mutual at this point, and you have done nothing but lead us in the right direction. We're grateful for that.
You all have a good vision too. You know what you want, and you're like, these are the things that matter. These are the things that we're like cool with, however that needs to go down. And so, I always feel permission to take it and run. And that's very exciting to me.
I don't know why, but right now I'm remembering, I can't remember what photo shoot this was, but it was at my house, so it had to have been one of the early days. And you were like, can you just appease me? I'm going to bring a blue telephone and I just need to take this certain picture. And I was like, okay. And I still have those pictures of you taking of me with the blue phone. I'll never forget that.
I was like, this could be really great or really bad. I don't know.
It's really great. Oh gosh. Gone a bunch of different directions.
It's true.
Okay, well, I want to step aside from photography a second and hear, like, what does Anna Hedges like to do when it doesn't circle around photography? What do you like to do in your spare time?
Well, I am prematurely 92 years old, but with a lot of energy and a very like youthful spirit. So
she does own a pink tracksuit, guys, and
yes,
I was influenced to buy a matching one in a different color.
Which you look amazing in. So it all worked out.
Surfing
like,
in Hawaii.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was very jealous about that.
Have you ever been surfing?
Huh? No.
Okay, you would probably be really great at it.
You probably would.
Yeah.
He's very athletic.
Definitely, you would absolutely. Yes.
Can that be the next Cookie Crate photo shoot in Hawaii, and we all go
Let's do
and
it.
we surf when we're done?
I mean, I'll teach you how to surf. It all
do
works
that.
out. It does.
Yeah, you were pulling like an Airstream, right? Did you guys rent an Airstream? And
We
you pulled
had
it?
a Volkswagen Vanagon.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That
And
sounds so awesome.
bunch of
I was
boards
like,
loaded
man.
on top. Yes, it was honestly very fun.
Oh my gosh. You go on some really cool adventures.
Yes,
she does.
traveling and nature have been. I grew up on a lot of property, a lot of wooded area, and it like butted up against the Cherokee National Forest, and so we just kind of had unlimited space to run as a kid. So being in nature is definitely my grounding space and a place where I find a lot of clarity.
That sounds amazing.
It was like a dream. Honestly, I think even as a kid, I knew it was a dream.
Yeah.
I just learned so much from being, we always had a lot of like pets, like dogs and cats and things too. And we just all like run around the woods for hours. And
Childhood.
it really, it really was so sweet. And so nature is very much like a place where I find a lot of clarity and spend a lot of time there. And so this is a great place. Johnson City and the surrounding areas is like insane. You can go so many places in 30 minutes. And so I love nature. I really love traveling. I feel like a lot of I've gained a lot of perspective just from being different places and feel very lucky for that. I started quilting this winter.
Oh my goodness. And you actually finished a blanket, right?
Yeah, I finished my second one last week.
Oh, nice. I remember seeing the pictures of it and be like, okay. This is where Haley would say, pop off. With her Gen Z sayings.
Yeah, so that's been really nice. I started that in the winter, and just having something that's a very like a slow work practice has been really great. I tend to have a lot of energy, and just get very fidgety and want to be on the move all the time. And so having something that is pretty complex while also literally, if I'm gonna move fast, then I'm probably gonna mess something up.
Yeah.
And so it's been a really great practice.
That's actually great perspective for us as homeschool parents, like thinking of our children. And we do have some fidgety kids who have to like get up and move and can't be seated for too long, like doing a fine motor skill.
Quilt.
Yeah.
I mean, quilt is something like in that. Well, I do think they should learn how to sew, because honestly, I take all of John's shirts to his mom and say, can you sew this button back on? Because I don't know how.
She says that, but they never make it to mom. And they usually end up in the trash.
I mean, fair point. We didn't have to take it that far, but that is what happened.
It's still vision. I am hearing vision.
There is a vision there.
I got a teammate on my side today. But it would be a helpful skill to know how to sew, or like have those skills. So I'm mentally noting
Definitely. Yes, I've learned a lot about, I think sometimes I think the amount of energy, I think I do have naturally a lot of energy, but also I think a lot of it's just fueled by anxiety. And so to be able to like keep my hands busy and kind of just like let my mind be really present, it's been great.
I love that. I can't wait for one of your quilts to be on the next Cookie Crate photo shoot.
Oh, where could we take the quilt? Hawaii?
Hawaii, duh. It's happening. You heard it here.
That would be amazing.
Are there any other passions that you want to share?
I like to read.
Oh, yes,
I like
girl.
to...
What kind of books do you like to read?
Mostly nonfiction.
Okay.
Mostly about people.
I also, this is such a random question, but it's for my own curiosity. Do you feel like you'll stay in Johnson City forever, or do you ever see yourself leaving? Like, not a definitive answer, but do you foresee that?
That's a great question. I have left and come back a couple times, as we do.
Okay.
Yeah. I honestly really love it here. I think being like tucked in the mountains and just being surrounded by so much nature is one of the best things for my health.
Yeah.
And so I like to leave often because sometimes it's a very small town. But I always enjoy coming home too. I don't know. Yeah. I feel very open to leaving, but it hasn't made sense yet.
We don't.
That'll be the day that I curl in fetal position on
I'll
the
come
Cookie
back.
Crate floor.
We disagree with that statement.
I will pay you to travel back simply for photo shoots a few
I
times
will
a year.
100% do that.
Okay,
Nothing
good.
would make me happier.
Somebody get a piece of paper, write that down.
Sign it.
I was talking to someone this weekend who lived here for a while and then they moved to Florida.
Yeah.
And she was back visiting just for a couple months this summer. And we were out on the lake, which if you've ever been to Watauga Lake, it's just...
It's like unreal.
There's no way to explain it, and pictures don't
It's
even
heaven.
do it. Yeah.
Heaven.
It really is paradise, especially in the full season of summer. And she was like, I just forget how breathtaking the mountains are. Like, I love Florida, but this is home. Like, this is just unreal. I'm like, it does something to your soul being in the mountains versus living on flatland. I'm just saying, if you live on flatland, it's not a problem, obviously, but you should come visit us and just see the majestic aspect of the mountains. It's amazing.
It is.
It really is. Even just having like Beauty Spot and Unica Mountain and Carver's Gap so close. When I really haven't spent that much time in the Smoky Mountains, and I'm like, we have basically the same mountains like 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
This is accurate.
It
That's
just
where
feels
I grew
so
up.
lucky.
I know. I love it so much. Okay. Well, kind of to wrap up this incredible episode where I have I can't even explain how much I've enjoyed getting to know you on a new level and know more things about you. It's been so fun. And just hearing from you, I know people have enjoyed hearing your perspective and getting to know you more as well, because they only just get to see you when we show behind the scenes of photo shoots. So now you know the Anna Hedges behind the scenes.
That's right.
I want to kind of leave with just a quick tip, if you will, as a photographer from your perspective. What is one thing that every photo needs? And keep in mind the people listening are probably entrepreneurs, small business owners, and even just people who are maybe in the influencer world, doing, product photography or whatever it might be. What is one thing every photo needs?
My personal opinion is to tell the truth as best as you know how in the moment. And so I think if a photo is authentic to what you hope to portray, people will feel that. Part of me wants to say that good lighting is very important, and I think it is, but ultimately you could have the greatest lighting ever and still not feel something. And I'm always looking to feel something when I make photos with other people, whatever it might be, even a product. It's like, how can we make this the most authentic and tell the story in the most true form?
That definitely speaks through your work volumes. Anyone who goes and takes a look at Anna's Instagram feed will see that you can totally evoke emotion through a photo, and you do that so well. And I think the lighting, which is the answer I guessed that she was going to say. Yep. I told John, I was like, she's going to say lighting, because that's what every photographer, every person says. And that is true.
It's true.
Even your lighting changes and depicts for a mood and evoking that feeling and emotion you want to portray. So
it's really true. Like, without light, you literally don't have a photo. However, and maybe it's like a chicken and egg thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
which came first?
Yeah. I think you can have crappy lighting and still have a photo where you feel something. Yeah. And that's what I'm always looking for.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Anything
Thanks
else
for
you
asking. That's a sweet question.
Yes. Actually, I do have a question. This is for all the photographers out there.
Okay.
You have thousands of cameras to choose from.
Yeah.
What's the one camera and why that you would take?
Put her on the spot, John.
I know. Okay. Well, Mike, I have so many questions, right? I'm like, what are we shooting? Where are we going?
Analytical.
You only get one.
Okay. Personally, that's a great question.
I feel like all the photographers listening right now are totally like, I know exactly how she feels. Like, I need to know more. This is circumstantial.
Yeah. It's like, it is very dependent. I think I do agree with, like, the best camera is the one that you have with you and the one that you enjoy using. I have this little Fuji GA645, I think. It's a little rangefinder medium format camera, and it has, so the medium format roll of film only has like 12 shots, I think, for this camera at least. And I love to take it when I travel because it's really small and there's only like 12 frames. And so I have to, like, especially when I travel, I'm like, okay, how can I document this place in 12 frames only?
Yeah.
And those limitations really help me.
Makes it way intentional.
It does. It makes it so intentional. And, like, there's a money element just because of cost of film and developing. And so it just gives me these limitations that I find very exhilarating.
Yeah.
And so maybe if I just only had to have one, maybe that one would be fun. I usually use it for personal, like, travel work. Yeah. But it is a camera that I find to be inspiring. Usually I'm not really inspired by gear. I want it to do its job, but the people, or like whatever the interaction is that I'm photographing, I'm much more inspired by. I feel like I can use my iPhone and make decent photos. Yeah. It's kind of wild, but yeah.
I don't know why.
Awesome.
But she just said I can use my iPhone and make decent photos. And we always, Haley and I always make fun of Anna at photo shoots because with love, and she knows, because she makes fun of herself for the same thing. But we're always like, Anna, if Haley and I are both in the shot, we need her to capture the behind the scenes for us to use for the cookie crate, like B-roll type situation. And Anna's always like holding it. She's like, wait, how do I work this thing? And she's like, what button do I push? Oh, shoot, that was a boomerang. Oh, no.
This is not a lie. I'm like, this is so much pressure.
You're like, Anna, you operate like $1,000 camera equipment. What?
Yeah. What I know. I don't know. It's the whole like boomerang or hold the button in or like, I don't know. I love it so much though, honestly. I need to start doing video. That'd be fun.
You do. Well, your assistant that you're going to hire is going to do all of your footage for
There
you.
you
That's
go.
what's going to happen.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Anna, I cannot thank you enough for taking time out of your day to come do this. This was so much fun. I enjoyed it. Did you?
I did, yeah.
Seriously, so good. I know everyone listening gained such a sweet perspective from you. You're humble, you're generous, you're kind, you're authentic. You're so many beautiful things. And I'm beyond grateful that you are in our lives and the role that you do for the Cookie Crate, but as a friend too. So thank you so much.
Thanks for that, Megan. I'm just going to sit and metabolize that.
We'll snuggle after this in our jumpsuits.
Oh, that's so much. It's been such a joy to be here, I think, with both of you. And I appreciate you carving out time to share this space and just honestly, just sharing your life. I think.
Doing it together. Well, thank you for being a part of it.
Yeah, it's a joy.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to today's podcast, and we will see you in the next episode.
See you next week.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you liked it, leave us a review. If you're following on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. On Instagram, follow us at The Modern Tulip, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Pumped I am.